Hi Book Dragons, I'm here to talk through my 2025 reading goals. And I always love making goals, and I really want to be a little bit more on top of them this year, just because I am very much someone that's like very goal motivated, and I like to check things off of lists. And this year sucked. I'll be very honest. It was a pretty rough year. Just like personally, there was a lot of stuff going on. So I think around April, I fell off all of my goals, and I just like wasn't keeping up to date on it. But as someone like in life, like I like making goals. Like I like checking things off lists. So I kind of redid a bunch of things. I started doing virtual journaling on Zinnia. I got that rec from Four Paws in a Book. I'll try to link her below. I'm sure you know her. She's very popular in the bookish community. But I am someone that like am not artistic in that way. Like I just get frustrated at myself because I'm not creative. I don't have nice handwriting. I have sloppy penmanship, and I'm not that artistic. I love scrapbooking though, so like it's a very frustrating thing. I'm just gonna try in 2025. Sorry, my dog is barking at us screen because my mom's watching something with a dog on it, and she does not like that, so if you hear her barking, she's fine. But I want to try to like do both. I want to try to use my little Inkling design planner, do some physical journaling as well, but also use my use my virtual journaling because it's a little bit easier for me to look nice and look pretty, to be very honest. So I'm not going to talk binary goals because honestly numbers just don't mean a lot to me. I will, at the end of the year when I do my stats, I will kind of say like where I am everywhere, but honestly I'm within 5 on everything within like the past year. So it's like gone up 5, gone down 5, so I'm within 580 like with all time. So it's not like it's not very consistent. I get 5 subscribers and then I lose 5 subscribers, but I always hope to get to like 1,000, but I don't know when it's gonna happen. But when we get to the end of the year, I will tell you guys my final numbers. But right now I'm a little bit mad because I keep losing followers, and that's okay, but it's just a numbers game and I have to understand that. But I'm gonna go through my 15 goals, and again, they're just fun for me to like have something to look forward to. So I want to read my special editions in the month that I get them, or before. That's really the goal. I want to read my special editions before I get them, because then if I have access to them, like if I have an arc or something, I want to read them because they just stay on my shelf and I don't read them once they get over. And then it also will help me for end of the year content if I actually read books that are picked by book boxes, because they are more likely to get in like the end of the year awards and stuff. So I'll be a little bit ahead. So I want to read my special editions in the month that I get them, or the month after, just depending on access to arcs and stuff. I want to read an actual sequel each month and not count companion series. I read a lot of companion series and they just don't count. And I also just want to really like focus on my series a lot more in 2025. I always say that, but I really want to put a considered effort into doing that. I want to read my TBR takedown vlogs, which is basically getting all my Comic-Con and YALLFest arcs and reading them down to 0. So by the time I get to going to ALA and going to Comic-Con again, I don't have as many arcs. So that's going to be a vlog project I'm going to start coming up relatively soon in the next couple of weeks. So yeah. There are a couple of series in 2025 that I want to restart, and a couple of them are the 4th Wing series I want to reread before Onyx Storm comes out. I want to restart Ember in the Ashes. I want to restart A Court of Thorns and Roses. And I want to restart a couple of other series that I just want to revisit book 1 and move on. I'm just so bad at it. So I really want to focus on audiobooks as well to help me with that. I want to read one book, at least one book. I want to focus on reading one book a month from each of my lists. So that is going to be hard, but I figure if I do it now and if I start like immediately the minute I post this video, the problem is that like when you get so far into the year, a lot of my interests change and my interest wanes. So like I want to almost read these books now and get them done. So I almost want to like clear out my list by the time we get to June, but then that like never happens. But that is a secret goal, to like have these lists cleared out by the middle of the year. so that I can just move on to other things. We'll see. But yeah, basically focus on my lists every month is what I basically was saying. This one is always scary. I want to get better at reaching out for booktubers for collaboration projects, and I'm just really, really scared to try that. It makes me nervous because I always think I'm not that big and no one's going to want to collab with me, which I'm sure is not true, and even if it is true, it's just in my own head. But also just do more of my taste test vlogs, because I really do like doing those. I just haven't done those in a while. I think the last one I did was Leandra, and that was like back in January. So I want to go back and like do a taste test vlog. So once everyone's end of the year content goes up, I'm going to kind of make my own spreadsheet and kind of pull some books from all the booktubers I follow. I also followed so many new booktubers this year. So like my watch queue is so different from last year, so it might be fun for me to just see what booktubers should I really be taking recs from. I'm gonna keep watching them because I love them all, but like, whose booktubers do we line up with taste? And again, I know this is not an original idea. I know it's not, but I just like the idea, so I'm gonna kidnap it from a few of the booktubers that I really, really admire. I want to read one book on my Kindle every month, and that is really going to come into another, like a later goal about my paperweight. So we'll talk about that when I get there. I have fell off, like, so that's really going to come back. I'm going to come back to that goal in a second, but I want to read one book on my Kindle each month, not including audio, like physically read a book on my Kindle, but I'll come back to that in a future goal. I want to read 10 nonfiction this year. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a nonfiction book on my TBR every month, and it cannot leave my TBR until I read it, because I get really, really distracted at reading nonfiction. So, if you don't know anything about me, I commute into the city every day as like a teacher, and I cannot listen to audiobooks on the subway because it's so loud. But I can listen to podcasts, so what I think I'm going to do is at the start of the month, I'm going to pick a nonfiction book, and for the first week, I'm going to read the nonfiction book on the train. Because I could at least follow it. It's probably going to be like a memoir or like a nonfiction book. I really fell off my nonfiction train hard, and in 2016, I listened to a ridiculous amount of nonfiction, and 2025 is going to be very similar to 2016, unfortunately, or 2017, as the case may be. So I'm going to be picking up a lot more nonfiction, and of course trying to read more diversely, but I want to make it a concrete effort to read a nonfiction book a month because I really do like it, and I have a lot on my TBR that I just have not read. So yeah. I want to read 10 historical romances. This is kind of going with that goal. Like, I like historical romances, I just have to pick them up, so kind of make that a little bit of a priority as well. So yeah. And also, like, I didn't write this here, but I'm going to mention it, and I'm going to figure out how I want to read my romantasy. If you don't know anything about me, I am a very, like, segregated reader. I read a lot of fantasy physically, and I read a lot of romance audiobooks. But fanro was like a combination of the two, and I can't figure out if I want to listen to them or read them physically. So I've been reading all of my fanro, like, with my eyeballs, and I think that it's like affected my enjoyment a lot because I'm not really a romance reader physically. So I'm going to try my hardest in the next like month and a half to give fanro a shot as audiobooks and see if I like them more. So figure out how is the best to consume fanro. I'm going to write that in my goals so I don't forget. So I will be back once I write that, and then we're going to continue on. And this is just another, like, monetary goal. I want to read 10 fanros next year and 10 cozy fantasies. I have really, or like 5, I think I said 5 romantasies and 5 cozy fantasies, because I really did like cozy fantasies this year. That was probably like my favorite genre. And so many of the booktubers I have been following this year have been talking about fanro. So I want to at least read 5 in the year next year and just kind of see if I like it and give myself a shot, because in theory I should love fanro because it's fantasy meets romance, which are my 2 favorite genres. But I just have to figure out, sort of like I said with my other goal, how is the best way to consume those. Yes. And then build, I want to build my new paperweight because I'm getting it for Christmas. My mom told me she bought it. I want to build my new paperweight into my evening routine. And I want to read like for 30 minutes before bed. Because that I think is really important. I am really, if you don't know anything, I have to go to bed by 9:30 every single night because I wake up ridiculously early to go to work as a teacher. And I find that like, I just wanna, like I'm always just scrolling on, I'm scrolling on YouTube basically, and I'm watching silly videos and they're all really, really good, but that does not turn my brain off. So I'm gonna kind of read my paperweight at the end of bed. I'm gonna kind of shut everything off at 9 o'clock and I'm just gonna read on my paperweight and just fall asleep to that. And I'm just going to hope that the blue light doesn't hurt my eyes because that's what I think is keeping me awake. So that is my plan. I'm gonna have one book on my Kindle that I'm reading every night, and that's just gonna be a Kindle book. And if I could read 30 minutes every single night, I should be able to finish it by the end of the month. So that is the plan. In an ideal world, it would either be a KU book or a NetGalley arc, and I don't really know. I wouldn't make any goals about my NetGalley arcs. I want to read one NetGalley book a month, just to like give me like an easy goal to achieve, because NetGalley is hard for me. Reading on my Kindle is hard for me, so hopefully this will help. So one more goal to read 1 or 2 NetGalley books a month. So in case I didn't say that, I want to focus on reading 2 NetGalley books a month, and I do have a NetGalley list, so that will also help. But I need to get better at reading on my Kindle. I don't think I'm ever going to be a Kindle reader like for like forever, but I do read quicker on my Kindle, so it is a goal. I want to complete 20 series that do not include companion series, so 20 actual series. I want to make sure that I'm keeping up to date on the series that I'm in the middle of, and as you saw in a previous video, I am in the middle of 100 series. Probably more, but those are the 100 series in the last 3 years I've been looking on Goodreads. I want to complete 5 companion series if possible, because those are honestly easier to read, to be very honest. I want to do my buy 5 book or read 5 books, buy 1 in my reading game, which I'm going to talk about in another video, and follow my new game rules, which I am not going to talk about here because it's a little bit complicated. So in my January TBR, I will go over all my game rules because it's kind of like a questing adventure. A little bit different, very, very similar to my old Game of Chance game, but like a little bit different and a little bit more exciting. So yeah, let me know if you do reading goals. If you don't do reading goals, that's totally fine. Whatever works for you as a reader, but I like reading goals. Let me know in the comments, what is one goal you have that you want to try to improve in 2025? I would love to know, and I'll talk to you guys later.